This is James Elder for IFL TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. We're at the Peacock today for the open media workout with Tyson Fury. With me, I've got Tyson Fury's trainer, Peter Fury. How you doing, Pete?
Yeah, I'm good, James.
Good.
Always good.
How was your flight from Monte Carlo?
It's very good, yeah. It's only, I think, an hour and 30 minutes into Gatwick.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Good flight.
I mean, how has Tyson Fury's training camp gone for this one versus Christian Hammer? And more importantly, do you think he's motivated for this fight?
Yeah, he knows what's at stake, and only a fool wouldn't be motivated for this fight. He's had an excellent training camp, no excuses, no flus, no viruses, and he's all ready to go. So I'm expecting a top-class performance.
Reading some of the articles that Christian Hammer's done since he's been here, he thinks his ability's been very downplayed, and he's confident of going in and not only winning, of stopping Tyson Fury. What is your reaction to that, Peter?
Well, if boxing was about talking, we'd have men in offices behind desks doing it. A lot of shit to me. Words mean nothing. I'm a realist. Is he a threat? Of course he is. Has he got weaknesses? Of course he has. You know, is he hittable? Yes, he is. Has he got proper dynamite power? No, he hasn't. Is he when he gets clipped, is he going to go? Yes, he is. So it's just, I see the sand running at the bottle as the rounds go on. You know, he'll get caught up with. And listen, all fighters have always got plenty to say. He's got no option, has he? He's got nothing to lose. But I just see this fight a foregone conclusion.
With that said, he has nothing to lose. Does that make him more of a dangerous opponent, coming in with Tyson's mandatory status?
You know, absolutely. Look, he's ranked number 3 or whatever he is, number 3 or 4. He's coming off on his last 10 wins, and this is heavyweight boxing. So to go in 100% confident, like we can't lose, of course he can lose. You take one step foot wrong, you know, look, Lennox Lewis has lost, Ali's lost, you know, so let's not take anything away from this sport. You know, it's got to be full on, total dedication. He's had the best of training camp, so he's ready for Christian Hammer.
WLADIMIR KLITSCHKO taking on Bryant Jennings. We spoke to Klitschko's promoter, Tom Loafer from K2 Promotions in Monte Carlo. He's very keen on the fight. He likes the fight. Do you think we could possibly get this for Tyson's next fight, or will there be another fight after the Hammer fight?
No, I don't see any reason why not. I think Frank Warren, Nick Hennessy, I think they're all working on this Klitschko fight, and I think this is the fight next for Tyson. I think providing they both come through the fights, which I don't see any reason why not, I think we're looking at Klitschko-Tyson, you know, towards the end of the year.
Where do you think the fight sells more? Obviously, Tyson's fan base is UK. WLADIMIR KLITSCHKO is well documented, a massive German fan base. In your opinion, where do you think would be better to have that fight?
I think it's a mega fight here in London, in the capital of the UK. You know, I've got to say it because here you've got, you know, we love boxing. You know, take away the fact, you know, whether you like Tyson, whether you hate him, this is a boxing country. You know, so it's steeped in history in boxing. And you know, what a nice thing to stage it in England. So I think it's a mega fight here. I think it does more numbers here on the money side. I think Klitschko's a businessman, and I think they'll see sense. And I think it'll be a fight, a defining fight for Vladimir to try and clean up the division and also have a world title fight here in the UK. So I think there's every chance of it happening here in the UK.
Coming back to what you said earlier in this interview, if it was to do with talking, anyone could be fighting. Do you think it is just talk on hot air from their side, or are they genuinely interested in making this fight happen?
I think they're interested. I think it's come to a stage now where this fight commands, you know, the respect it commands. You know, I think Tyson's right up there, and I think the Klitschkos will take this fight.
Hughie Fury, fantastic points win for him in Monte Carlo against RUDENKO. Do you think Hughie Fury should have got more credit for that performance, given the ratings of RUDENKO, his rankings?
Absolutely, he should have got more credit. You know, look at the fight over again with Brown. You know, Brown's a phenomenal puncher. He couldn't do any good with RUDENKO at all. I had him losing the first 6 rounds. I had him winning the last, probably a share of some of them. And I give Lucas Brown 3 or 4 rounds max. I had RUDENKO winning that fight. That's not to take anything away from Brown. But when you look at Brown's corner in between rounds, he was struggling to get his second wind. He was pep talking him a bit. He was cut across both eyes. He had a war with RUDENKO. And like I said, I think if it had been anywhere else, the decision would have been different. Hughie, a 20-year-old, has played with Rudenko. Boxed him, outsmarted him. You know, Rudenko even got a point deducted for holding on to Hughie because he couldn't handle him at all. Hughie showed certain things in that fight. One, he can do 10 rounds. One, when he gets hit full on with Rudenko, it didn't make any difference. Yeah? And, you know, and thirdly, you've got a young kid who's unsure of himself, going in, stepping up to that level. Now he knows what he can do at that level. So there's still things to be worked on with Hughie. He was overstretching with the right hand. He wasn't pulling it back. He was looping it over still, not firing it straight. So these are the things what he's got to work on. He's got to work on his forward game, you know, because he's a very good back foot fighter. So these are the things we've got to work on. But what a fantastic future for a 20-year-old. You know, so now he's back to full health. He's had a year out nearly, and he was only 6 or 7 weeks back into this, where we've got his food right and things like that. But what he needs credit for, you know, what he should be given maximum credit for, this is a kid who's not afraid to take chances. Yeah, he's got a pair of balls like King Kong. You know, he's gone in there with somebody that nobody said he should win it. You know, you've got a guy that you can't knock out. You've got a guy that can hit you and knock you out. You know, he had 150 amateur fights. He was a bronze and silver medalist for Russia. So he's very experienced, boxing since he was 15. And you've only got to look what he done with a number 4 WBA ranked fighter. And look what Hughie's done at 20 years old. Now we know styles make fights and nothing taken away from anybody. But we would like for Hughie next, Manuel Cha, Mark Demori, any of these fights.
Ustinov, is he in the mix?
Ustinov is in the mix. I'm not going to say Brown. I'm not going to call people out because I don't think it's a sensible business decision for Brown. I think Brown will be looking for a world title. The only thing we're up against with Hughie now, who wants to face a 20-year-old? What's in it for them? They could outprice themselves out. But make no mistake, Hughie's coming. He's back to full health, and he's got the wrong father to skate around and mess around. Yeah, he's going in there, and like I said, I didn't predict. I thought Rudenko was going to give him a hard fight. That's the fight. That's what we trained for. But he stuck to his game plan and just done a master boxing class. What it has showed though with Hughie, that we've got a world-class operator who can move, who can box, and that's for people saying he can't punch. He can hit like a mule. The only thing is with him, he's loading up with he loads up a lot with his right hand. He's just got to get that timing better. When he puts the right hand straight, I think he hit Rudenko in the 8th or the 9th round from the 7th, I can't remember, and I was ringside and I watched Rudenko's legs buckle. He dipped his knees. So Hughie can punch, you know, he swelled Rudenko's eye up after it. So like I said, he's just got to get the timing right and the accuracy, which will come with experience. You know, but now he knows at this level he can do the 10 rounds, he knows what it's like to step up. The sheer confidence he'll get from that will enable him to punch correctly and everything else. But he's a serious talent, like I've always said, and I'm over the moon for him, and I'm over the moon for myself, obviously, because it's all our family. But he's definitely one to watch for the future. Big things for Hughie, because one thing you've got with Hughie, he can take a punch. The more he's attacked, you see the best of it. He didn't have to do it against Rudenko, because Tyson never had to do it against Chisora. This kid can go through the gears, and we're yet to see it. So let's get him a meaningful fight. Any one of these fighters I've mentioned will take it. If Brown comes to us tomorrow, we'll take it. Don't make any mistake. Hughie will fight all these. So he's ready, and hopefully you're going to see Hughie back in June against one of these fighters.
If we look at one of the top prospects in the UK at the moment, Anthony Joshua, and we look at the calibre of opponents he's fought, where does Andre Rudenko rank in the calibre of opponents that Anthony Joshua's facing at the moment, in your opinion?
Well, we got really a 25-1 with a controversial loss, with 17 knockouts. So, you know, he's up there. You know, Rudenko's up there. He's better than what any of these prospects has fought up to now. You know, so you got a guy. He's 31 years of age. He's coming to win. You know, and he's coming to knock Hughie out. So he's had a good training camp. He had 9 weeks. It wasn't sprung on him in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So he's had perfect training. he come in another £10 heavier than what he did with Brown because he was confident of putting Hughie into next week, you know, and he tried his best, clearly looking for the knockout punch. But boxing's an art, you know, like I've always said, you need more than that punch. But what I'm mainly happy about for Hughie is the fact that at just turned 20-year-old, we're putting him in proper fights where he's going to get tested, you know. And Rudenko did test him because he caught him with 2 or 3 shots, good shots as well, a flush right hand which he never showed on the TV. You know, there was a few mistakes made, but Rudenko got through. You're not going to get wet in 10 rounds. So basically, he passed all the tests with flying colours. And you know, how's he going to be now? His diet's right over the next 12 months, training properly, and now the confidence has gone up another level. So that's what we're at for you. He's going to be in good fights from now on.
I mean, we saw David Price back in action in Germany on Saturday, winning over 5 rounds. There was a lot of talk of Tyson Fury versus David Price at one time. That was probably potentially one of the biggest fights that could have been made that never happened. Do you now think Hughie Fury, David Price could be a good fight in the future?
Yeah, David Price is a big puncher. They all are. They're all a threat, aren't they? But yeah, you know, they're all fights. But I don't see that fight happening. I think David Price is being groomed for Anthony Joshua, probably for a British title shot. You know, that's what I can see happening in the future. So I don't want to say Hughie's going to fight this, fight that, if I don't see it feasible happening. You know, you got to look at the business aspect. What I'm saying is this: Hughie, when his time comes, he will take over all the heavyweights. He's coming, and he's coming fast. So, you know, the ones that watch, they'll look round in the next 12-18 months, and Hughie will be on the heels. But Hughie will have earned his pedigree properly, because I'm putting him in tough fights. 20 or not, he's getting it in tough fights.
Peter Fury, I can't thank you enough for your time.
Always good.
And I'll catch you again real soon.
Thanks, James.